You are now listening to the Vitalize Podcast. Hey yo, what up, family? Welcome back to the Vitalize Podcast. You're here with your friendly neighborhood host, Mr. Marcus Black, and I'm so incredibly excited, elated, ecstatic, all the other words that start with E, just to let you know I'm happy to be in your presence today, man. We are officially simulcasting right now, man, so you might be listening to this, so if you catching this on the replay, shout out to you. But there is an incredible live audience who is catching this live, and it is exclusively streamed right now on Chatter Social. That is Chatter Social. You might be saying, what is Chatter Social? How about you go to your app store, whether you have Android or iPhone, and type it in and see what happens. It'll be this beautiful little teal dots. You go in, sign up for an account, and then you can come and be a part of the festivities too. So we have a lot of fun. It's an incredible community. Matter of fact, there's a live audience here. Some of y'all say hello, so I can tell the people you said hello. Say hello in the chat. If you see me look, I'm looking at their chats, which is happening live. That's what we're doing. And do I have a message for you today? I got one that's burning in my heart, that this is the perfect time for this message, because I have a message of productivity that I want to give to you so that you can help other people get to where they want to be, and so that you can get where you want to be. That's what we're doing. So right now, hey, listen, man, River said, hello, family. My man James said, what up? He said, get in here. James said, hey, I don't know what you need to do, but you need to figure out how to get where we are, because you can. Also, Miss Diana said, hey. She said, hello there. My man Hoosie said, hi. Man, shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for being willing to do that. What's up, Kenneth? I see you joining the room as well. So what are we talking about today? You guys know, some of you know, if you're new here, welcome, man. I'm so glad to have you back, man. We are continuing to climb, continuing to grow, to fight, to thrive, to achieve, to be the greatest version of ourselves as humans. And my personal mission is to help you be the greatest version of yourself as a human as well. And so this is how we're going to fight to do that, man. It is about taking real life experiences, finding the meaning in those, packaging those those painful experiences into purpose, and going and serving somebody else outside of ourselves. That's what we're doing. So that's what I want to encourage you to do. And I want to really start this off by telling you a story. So my little brother, my baby brother, it's crazy because he ain't so much a baby no more. He's a grown man, but I remember the day he was born, right? Oh, somebody say, oh, my little brother was born into the world, and I got to hold him because I'm 7 years older than him. But he has now grown up into become an incredible leader. He is an extraordinary young man who is leading the next generation through coaching. He was a phenomenal athlete himself, is a phenomenal athlete. And so he's now coaching. And so he's been a football coach for years, football coach at a particular school for years, shaping young men at the foundational level, helping them find confidence, helping them find clarity, helping them develop their skills and their abilities. His football team for the last 2 years, so he's at the middle school level, has won the championship for the last 2 years. So his football team is revving. They got a system, they got a formula, they got athletes, they're making an impact. The boys are growing, they're developing. So football is his passion, that's his life, he's doing great. So now some of y'all are like, okay, oh, it's a sports talk. I'm not a sports fan. Let me check out. Don't do that right now. This is not your time to turn off the stream. If you're watching it, this is not your time to go to something else, because even if you don't like sports, trust me, I will do 2 things. I'll never bore you. I'll never waste your time. So I'm telling you a story which you can 100%, I can guarantee you, will have principles, real world, that will help you get to your next level, whether you like sports or not. It's not about the sports, it's about the principle. So stick with me, because I will never tell you a story without making a point. But I will also never make a point without telling you a story, because this is what I was trained to do by the one and only Les Brown himself, who is incredible. So that to say, my brother, been a football coach, they're winning, they're championshipping. But this year, he got a call from his principal and said, I need to meet with you. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. So he goes to meet with the principal, and the head football coach is in there, and it's like, whoa, what is happening in this meeting? She says, we got some news. And the news is that our head basketball coach has stepped down. He has decided that he no longer wants to coach this team. He can't coach this team. He's overwhelmed. And my brother's like, okay, why are you talking to me? She's like, well, we kind of got an idea. You are really great with those young men, and we feel like you might be the person to lead the charge for helping kind of salvage a season. Well, the season had already begun. Now, they had only played one game, but the season had already begun. Now, the one game they played, they lost. And my brother's like, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to do it. She's like, well, I can make it lucrative. We can pay you this. We can add this. Well, teachers already is not out here just getting paid like that. So it's like, okay, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm a football coach, not a basketball coach. So this is where his mind is. So he decides that he's going to go about his business. He's not going to accept the charge, but they don't let up. Principal comes back around the next week and says, look, I'm talking to you because you are a leader of young men. You are a developer of young men. I don't care if you are a basketball coach. You care about these kids. So I think you are the person for the job. So my brother thought about it. He said, you know what? I guess when you put it that way, I'll give it a go. But I cannot promise you it'll be good. I cannot promise you we will win. I can't promise you none of that. All I can tell you is that we're going to do the very best we can, and I'm gonna keep leading young men. Principal said, thank you. I'm so grateful. So when is my first game? She was like, oh, yeah, in like 2 days. So their first game was literally like 2 days later after he officially accepted. So he knows the players because he's at the school, obviously, but he doesn't know the players. He doesn't know who does what. He had a lot to learn, a lot to figure out, but he gets in there. He gets into their first game, coaches them up to the best of his ability. The kids are having resilience issues. They're having infighting on the team, lots of attitudes, flares, but he's able to stabilize the team. He's able to get them cohesive enough to where their team got their very first win under my brother in his very first game as the coach. In his very first game as the coach, they got their very first win. But he called me after and was like, man, that was a lot, and we got a lot of work to do, and there's so many things they don't understand, which leads me to ask the question, like, well, if they already had a coach, what was he doing? And this is a side. This is the primary point, but this is a point. The other coach had gotten so complacent in his place and where he was, he literally had decided, I'm about to just phone it in. I'm just here, just collecting a paycheck. And if you are the type of person that's under the sound of my voice, and you ever allow yourself to get to the point where you are just making a paycheck and whatever it is you're doing, then you've already failed, because how you do anything, my friend, is how you do everything. And you cannot, must not ever allow yourself. It doesn't matter if I hate this job, if I hate this where I am, if I hate trading my time for dollars, if I'm so miserable it's draining the life out of me. You cannot be that way, because how you do anything is how you do everything. I remember when I was getting ready to transition from a particular job, and it had been a good job, but it had worn out its welcome with me. I had worn out my welcome with it, and it's the last days. I had already put in my resignation. I was just positioning myself to get out the door. And I remember I was bitter. I was bitter about the company. I was bitter about the people. I was bitter about how they were handling the situation. And somebody said something to me and was like, hey, can you help me find this and that so I can set the next person up? And I said to that person, I don't care about none of that. I don't care. No, I got other things to be thinking about. And I walked off. And that person, before I walked off, grabbed my shoulder and pulled me back and said, hey. I said, what you mean, hey? She said, why? I was like, what you mean, why? Why are you being this way? Because this isn't you. This isn't who you are. As a leader, this isn't who you are. Don't you allow the circumstances around you to cause you to leave this place in a lesser way than you should, in an inferior way. Do not you dare allow this to change who you are. You got to still show up with excellence. Even if you're on the way out the door, you got one foot out the door, yeah, that's cool. But again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So how you do this is how you're going to do that. So I was like, okay, I get it, the reminder. So that's what fast forwarding back to this situation, I'm telling you as a cautionary tale, don't be like I was in that situation, and don't be like this other coach was, because now you got this for the next person. You leave them with, okay, this chaos that we have to make sense of. So that was game number one. My brother's first ever game as the coach. They win their first game after he's suddenly thrust into this position, not even as a basketball coach. Now, the second week, they got their second game. It's in the morning. It's an in-school game. It doesn't count on the record, but it's an in-school game. They play that game. It's a game that goes down to the wire. They literally win it in the last second of the game. It was incredibly exciting, but it didn't count on the record. But it's like, okay, that's technically his second win. It doesn't show on the record, but he's won his first two games with this team. They won. Next game, 2 days later, they play the same team, but it's one for the record, and it actually counts. And he's a little nervous about it, but they go, they take care of business, they win again. So now he's won his first 3 games with this team. Ain't it crazy how the team before was starting to fall apart? The team had lost their very first game, and now here we are. That's 3 for 3. The next week, they got another game. In this game, they win again. That's 4 for 4. That's 4 for 4 of the games that my brother has played that he's won. This team hasn't lost the game under my brother. So then we get to the next week. That next week is this week. So now this is how long he's been doing this. We're on this week. Last Friday, there was another one of those in-school games. And that in-school game, you know, those don't count against the record. And in that in-school game, his team wound up losing their very first game under him. There was some issues, there were some things, there was some adversity, there was some referee stuff, and it's like, okay, here we go. It's gotten a little heavy. Team starting to point the fingers, starting to have a little bit of that toxic behavior rear its ugly head again. Good thing is they lost their first game under him, but that one didn't count. It wasn't on the record. It was an in-school game. That's a new thing, by the way. These schools are playing games during school hours, and the reason they are playing games under school hours is because they're able to raise funds. And so that's what we're doing. Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. So they're able to raise the funds for these kids, and they're able to do these things, and it's a cool thing. And I like it, but the game don't count on the record. So that team that finally beat them, where he was losing his very first ever game, he's like, we got to play them again. They had to play them last night. And this is where this talk is inspired from. It's inspired from something that literally transpired last night. So when we got to this point, last night, my brother plays the same team, the only team that's beat him since he's been a coach. He was nervous. He sending me things earlier in the week that he had been working on. I'm like, bro, you got this, coach, because ultimately you care. When the kids know that you care, they're going to perform greater. He's challenging them to be greater. He's challenging them to bring the best out of them. He's showing them what's in front of them. Everything you want is in front of them. And I hope as you start to listen, you no longer listen through the lens of these kids, but you start to listen through your own lens, because there's a lot of messages loading right about now for you. So we get to this place where the game happens last night, the only team that's beat my brother's team, and they show up and they go. He calls me last night about 10:30 to update me, says the game was going, it was a back and forth, it was an ebb and flow, but his team played better than he had ever seen them play before. And his team was able to not only do better than they did in the in-school game when they lost, his team was able to win, and win by a sizable margin. They were able to showcase their dominance and show who really the better team was. That was the last game before they get to go home and break for Christmas break. You guys know basketball season splits. They'll come back and finish the season right after Christmas break. Now, last night, it was myself, my brother who's the coach, my other brother, and my dad all on the phone. And my dad was saying, congratulations, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, son. Congratulations, way to go. And my brother was like, why are you congratulating me? Stop doing that. I don't understand why you're congratulating me. And he did understand. But the first thing that popped in my head when my brother said, why are you congratulating me? Because Right now, they're at the top of the standings. They got 2 games left before the tournament starts. The top 4 teams make the tournament. Right now, they're the first team, so they're in the tournament. If they don't lose another game, they're in the tournament. If they lose one game, they're probably still in the tournament, but seeding matters, right? But here's where we are. They come back after Christmas break. They only got 2 games left. Once those 2 games are up, it's the tournament, and then it's the championship. But right now, he took a team that lost its first game and then didn't lose another game on the record. That counts. He hasn't lost a game with this team. So they went from worst to first under his leadership. And now my dad is like, congratulations. And he said, and before he could say it, because all he said was, why are you congratulating me? And the first thing that popped in my head, somebody could probably already guess this if you are a sports fan, but what popped into my head was, job's not done. Job's not done. Job's not done. Now, I'm going to ask the live audience, since I know some of you are watching this on the hashtag replay, or you might be listening to this on Spotify or Anchor or Apple Pod, wherever you're listening. Shout out to you, by the way. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your support. It goes a long way. Hopefully, this is encouraging you, and I know where I'm about to go is definitely about to encourage you if you're still here, so shout out to you for sticking around for the payoff. If you're under the live audience, where did that come from? And I'm going to read it to the people here. Anybody know where that quote comes from? Job's not done. Somebody tell me. I know it's at least one of y'all that's a real fan of here. Job's not done. Tell me where that comes from. I'm waiting on them to tell me, guys. I need some Jeopardy music right now so I might sing it for you and see if any of them know where that comes from. I'm not certain if they know, but I bet you at least one of them does. So I'm just waiting to see. Oh, snap. There we go. I was waiting on it. Somebody got in there. Shout out to Corey, man. You know, Corey is an incredible human being, man. Super dad, YouTube extraordinaire, Mr. Corey Hammond. I appreciate you, brother. He said it comes from Kobe. Kobe Bryant was asked this exact same question when the Lakers were on their quest on one of their championship runs, and he had just had a remarkable night, north of 40 points. They win the game, and they're like, man, Kobe, you're well on your way to your next ship. How do you feel? Doesn't it feel good? They're like, doesn't it feel good? And Kobe said, job's not done. What is there to celebrate? Why am I celebrating? Am I a champion yet? Is there a ring on my finger yet? No. So then the job's not done. And that was the sentiment my brother had last night. He said, I'm going to get the team. So my dad's like, what are you going to do to celebrate? You going to take them, like y'all going to have a pizza party before you celebrate, before Christmas break? My brother said, no, I'm going to work them harder than I worked them before. Because the job's not done. We haven't achieved the goal yet. We haven't gotten to complete the mission yet. And I had nothing but respect in my heart for that, because how many times, now don't get me wrong, because I even teach that celebration is a part of success. You got to celebrate every win. Big or small, we celebrate them all. But at the same time, you got to keep that in check and in balance, because some people is doing more celebrating than executing. Some people is like, celebrating, it ain't nothing to celebrate. I remember Eric Thomas talking about that. Why you going out and buying the bottle, fam? You can't pay your bills this month. Why are you going out and buying the bottle? You about to go and spend all this money partying. What are you partying for? Do you have a degree? Do you have a career? Are you where you want to be? Have you launched your business? Have you invested in yourself? Have you took the program? Have you got the certification? If you haven't done that, what are we celebrating, really? And so really the crux of this message I want to give you today is that, yeah, this year is almost over, but guess what? You know what's not over? Your life. You know what is not over? Your mission, your personal purpose, and where you are heading and where you are going on a journey. It's not done. So you don't have the luxury to sit around and lay around and like, oh, okay, I'll do this later. There is no such thing as later. They say that success leaves clues, right? So if successful people are leaving clues for who and where you are to go on the journey, for where it is that you're going, then you should probably pipe in and pay attention. So Kobe Bryant, who's considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time, one of the 4 most and first champions in the history of the NBA. He's a champion by DNA, by his mindset. Everybody talks about the Mamba mentality. Well, he said, the job's not done. I got more to do. And so the message today for you is you got more to do. I love to hear my brother say that. And not that he's not celebrating his guys. They celebrated hard last night. But after we finish that celebration, we're gonna tap back in because we're not done. This job is not done. We got a little further to go. We got a little bit more to achieve. We haven't reached the goal. This isn't the pinnacle. So for you, while you about to go and eat, drink, and be merry, that's good. Celebrate tonight. Don't celebrate the whole month because you still got more work to do. What is the next level that you are trying to get to? What is the next step that you need to take to achieve greatness? What is it? What is that extra ounce of effort? That extra little bit, that last 2% that's in there that you like, I got 98, that's good enough. 98 is good enough. That's still an A, but you got 2% left. And I'm telling you, it is a tragedy. It is tragic if you don't max out the fullest potential that you have before you leave planet Earth. Some people is like, yeah, I got 25%, and that's just the best I can do is going to be what it's going to be. That's not the best you can do. That is not the best you can do. You have convinced yourself that that's the best you can do. You want to be coddled. You want to be held, and it's okay. And nah, man. Like, I get it. Trust me, I'm a warm hug most of the time. But I also can be a swift kick. And this is like a combination of both, but this is more the swift kick side because I know that you got something inside of you that's dying to get out. I know that you got another level. I know that you have another gear that you can shift into, that last gear, but it's like shifting that gear is going to require you to move faster than you thought possible, and it's going to require you to focus a little bit more. It's going to require you to move different. My baby boy recently, my oldest son had a birthday recently. We took him to K1 Speed. And you might not know what that is. K1 Speed is like a raceway. It's crazy. It's like a kid's go-kart track, but it's like legit. Like they got to wear the little under mask and they wear the full helmets with the visors and they go fast. It's wild. But my youngest son's a little younger, never been behind a wheel of any type of vehicle before. Gets in their first lap, they just let them go real slow so they can get them acclimated to the track, how to turn, the handling, the steering. And so they do their first little lap, and my youngest son is like, oh, yeah, this is real cool. But then the race starts. When the race starts, they hit that next gear. My youngest son hadn't been in that position before. It requires a different level of skill and expertise, precision to steer and control the car. He comes around flying. He comes around the turn around the bend. I got it on video. Phew, he going by me. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Turns that corner. He gets up, cuts another corner tight, but he does not slow down. He does not adjust. He's not focused on anything. He's just going. And I'm saying on the video, oh, slow down, slow down, slow down. He doesn't slow down. He turns that corner and boom, his little head just goes. He's sitting there. He actually exited the race. He got out. He said, I don't want to do this no more. Had a little headache. He's okay, by the way. If you're like, oh, no, he's a kid. He's okay. But I'm saying when he was going at 1 gear speed, he was okay. But when it was time to shift gears and hit that next level, it required more of him. It required more precision. It required more focus and attention. It required more skills that I'm not even going to say he wasn't equipped. He just didn't do it. And because he didn't do it, the outcome didn't go as he planned. So what I'm saying to you is, if you want the outcome to go as you plan, it's going to require more of you. It's going to require more precision. It's going to require more poise. It's going to require more passion. It's going to require more. More is more. Demanding more. Because your job isn't done. If you are sitting here and you're wondering, well, what is my purpose? Or do I have a purpose? Or I'm struggling with my purpose? Or I'm struggling with, do I matter? Or does anybody care about me? Does anybody care about what I'm building? And nobody really cares anyway. You worry about the wrong thing. You worried about everything you cannot control. What can you control is you and how you show up in the world. And what you can control is how you adjust to the adversities that present themselves, because the adversities are a fact of life. They're going to happen. Setbacks are going to happen to everybody. To me, I had like 17 in the last 2 months. I get it. It happens. Some of y'all know some of the setbacks I had, some major ones. And guess what? What am I still doing? I can't control that. I'm not focused on what I can't control. I'm still here. Still doing everything I do, still executing, still showing up in the world because that's my responsibility. And if I do that to the best of my ability, then I'm going to move the ball forward toward the goal because you can't score unless you get. Where the soccer players at? Somebody thought I was going to make a football reference. Soccer players, even anybody who plays soccer or kids play soccer or know anything about soccer, tell me the score rate of somebody kicking from their own goal, meaning from the other side of the field. That rate of you making a kick from there is probably next to none. It might be like 0.001, possible, but very improbable. But the closer and closer and closer you get to that goal, the bigger the goal gets. It doesn't get bigger, it just appears bigger because you're closer to it. So the likelihood of you scoring is much higher the closer you get to the goal. That's just like football. Same thing. It's the same in every sport. In football, the odds of scoring a touchdown from the 1 yard line are much greater than scoring the ball from the other side by the other end zone, 99 yards versus 1 yard. Which one are you more likely to score when you get closer to the goal? Playing basketball, what's a higher percentage shot? Shooting a full court three-pointer or shooting a layup? Come on now. How do you shoot a layup? You got to get close to the basket. How do you get closer? You move the ball forward. So I'm saying, when you show up every day, you look at it not like, well, nobody liked this video, nobody's sharing, nobody's showing up, nobody's coming, nobody. Did you move the ball forward today? And then some of y'all just got a big game. Like, let's go back to the football analogy. You got a 50-yard game. You feeling good. You celebrating. Guess what? You can't celebrate too long because you ain't scored yet. So that means the job's not done. I have seen teams get all the way to the 1 yard line and don't get in the end. They don't score. Because just because it's a higher chance you score doesn't mean you're going to score. So you celebrate too soon, or talk about celebrating too soon. How many times have you seen a football player who's got the touchdown, he's moved the ball, he gets right before the end zone, he celebrates too soon, he drops the ball, he doesn't get the touchdown because he dropped the ball before he crossed the line. What I'm saying is, do not drop the ball. Shout out to my man Claudio, man. I got to say this, bro. This is a live podcast recording. So my man Claude Monet dropped $10 rocket chat over on Chatter Social, where I told y'all this is being live for the live audience. He said, keep pushing and don't give up. Marcus going for 3 touchdowns like Pitts last night. Blessings, brother. Blessings. I appreciate you, man. So I had to shout him out. So if you guys want to know who Claude is and how you can be connected to him, you got to come create an account on Chatter Social, and then you can come join us, and then I can connect you to him once you follow me. So I appreciate you sharing that, man, and I appreciate the love and support. That's great. Listen to me. Don't celebrate too soon before you cross the goal, because that's a recipe for failure. The job is not done yet. You celebrate when it's time to celebrate, when you achieve the goal. And as long as you are moving the ball toward the goal, then you are exactly where you need to be. You are exactly where you need to be. So my challenge is that you take the mindset of Kobe Bryant and say the job's not done. My challenge is that you show up today and you give a little bit more. I've been asking y'all, what's one thing you can do to move the ball forward? Okay, today, what's 2 things? What's 2 things you can do today? If you really feeling froggy, what's 3 things you can do today that move the ball forward for you? I'm about to do 37 things today that move the ball forward for me, and I'm not exaggerating. I am in this studio, and I have no less than 3 months, a full quarter of content creation for a myriad of programs, systems, processes. I'm going bananas today. I'm about to do 37 things to move the ball forward. We about to score 7 times today, so you know it's real. So what I'm saying to you is, what are 3 things? You can give a little bit more. There's a little bit more inside of you. What's the little bit more you're going to give today? What's the extra push you're going to give today? What's that extra little bit of oomph? Instead of saying, I'm going to go and just celebrate and eat all the cheesecake I want, I'm going to go and get some of y'all like, ugh, cheesecake. Listen, I don't like regular cake. It's like bread, but sweet. I don't like bread. Argue with your mama. That's another conversation for another day. That's another conversation for another day. But what's not up for discussion is what are the things you're going to do? What are you going to do? to ensure that you get where you're trying to go. The job's not done. Go finish strong. Go fight. Win. What did my man tell you? Go fight, win. Shout out to Big X the Plug. Go fight, win today. Do a little bit more that gets you a little bit further, that gets you closer to the goal, so that then you can celebrate when it's time to celebrate, when you landed on top, when your business is the #1 voted and rated business everywhere, on ChatGPT, on Google, in your city, when you have won the awards and the medals because you helped so many people, when you fulfilled the mission and the purpose, when you have helped and served tens of thousands of people, made your community better, left this world better than you found it. That's when the job's done, and that's when we celebrate to the max. But until then, you keep growing, you keep going, you keep living and loving life, and you do this because you can. Straight like that, fam.